I'm editing this video on the road down from San Diego, California, visiting my child who is at San Diego State University. Here we are at the beach at La Jolla. A beautiful day, hanging out. I tried to do an intro from here, but as you can see that my lips are not moving and the wind was definitely blowing. So you couldn't hear a word I said. So we're just going to get right into the hands. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. We're back at Capital Casino playing in the 1-3 game, buying for $500. A friend of the vlog named Wang brought over a little Snoopy statuette. He thought it would bring me some luck. I already got Zeus on my side, so I told him thanks you, but I'll stay with Zeus. First hand of the day, there's a $6 straddle. I look down at Ace-Jack offsuit. Hoping for a raise to 20 from under the gun +1. It gets folded back to a very conservative player in the big blind, and he puts in a quick raise to 50. I'm getting a pretty good price to take one off here, but I'm not in love with my hand. I'm either going to smash this thing or I'm going to get out of the way. Flop comes 5-3 deuce. There are two hearts, so I do have a backdoor flush draw and a gut shot for a straight. He bets out 75 rather quickly. I just decided not to give him any action. The under gun player raises to 10. There's a couple callers, and I got king 10 suited in the big blind. I decided to defend. So we're going to go four ways to a flop with 41 in the pot. And the flop comes out pretty darn good. It's king 10-5 rainbow. So excellent flop. I decided to put in the check, go for a check raise on the flop. It ends up getting checked around, so not ideal. We're giving away a free card. Turn card comes as a deuce of clubs, so it puts up a backdoor flush draw. Otherwise it doesn't change much. I end up betting $25. I figure this will get action for maybe a one pair type of hand, or perhaps someone with a backdoor flush draw. Player who was under the gun, he looks at his hand for a bit and then decides on a call. He was the pre-flop aggressor, even though he only made it $10. You have to put him on a little bit tighter range than most. Everybody else folds out, and then we get the 9 of clubs. Absolutely worst card in the deck. Not only does it complete a flush, it also makes a possible straight. So I just decided to check it over to him. If he has a flush, I might have to pay him off. Maybe I can get a read and get away from it. Make your flush?
Johnson, you still want player holders? Yeah.
Just asking.
PT, you still want player holders? PT? Yes.
Did you make your flush? No, I flopped two pair. I flopped kings and tens. At this point, I should probably just get away from the hand. He seems way too comfortable and is able to carry on the conversation. So I think he has it. He is a vlog supporter, and I'm really curious on what hand he would play this way. So I paid him off, and he showed Queen Jack offsuit. I should have folded and saved $40. There was a raise from the under the gun +1 player. He just got stacked the hand before, so I think his range is fairly wide. There were a bunch of callers, and so I decided I would call also for the $10. We could see a flop of Queen Jack 10 with two spades. So we bink the flop. He leads out for 20. I'm loving it. Player in between us puts in the call. I'm just going to put in the call here, hoping to hit a flush. I don't think my queen is in the lead right now until the 5 of diamonds comes and he decides to check. The other player also puts in the check, and now I'm thinking, okay, my queen is ahead and I need to get some value. So I make a bet of $80. And the player under the gun +1 puts in the quick call, and the other player gets out of the way. So I'm looking for a safe river card, and we get the ace of spades, the perfect river card. Now the player under the gun +1 puts in the jam. I make the quick call. He shows a king for a straight, and I show him that I made the flush, and we're able to take it down. He is also a vlog watcher, and he signaled me that I was number 1. I actually thought it was pretty funny, and I started laughing, and so did the rest of the table. I know there's some people that would take that the wrong way and make a big deal out of it, but he was just joking around, having a good time. And come on, you can't do that when you're playing poker. When can you? There were 4 limpers in front of me, and I looked down at ace-6 suited. Normally I would probably raise with this hand, but occasionally I like to throw in a call. It plays well multi-way. Anyway, I just put in the call and we're going 6 ways to a flop with $18 in the pot. Flop comes down Queen 5-3 with a 5-3 of hearts. So we got the nut flush draw, an overcard, and some backdoor straights. It gets checked to the player from the previous hand and he bets out $20. So a pot size bet, I think he has something, most likely a queen here, maybe a queen with a flush draw. I put in the call and so does one of the blinds. So we're going to go 3 ways to a turn card of a king of clubs. Not a great card for our hand. First player puts in the check, and now our friend from the last hand decides to put in a large bet. He makes it $150, way too expensive for drawing to the nuts. If we made it a decent size, I would definitely be calling, but that's way too big. Only thing I can do is get out of the way. The other player actually thought about it for a very long time, so maybe he had some sort of flush draw also. He ended up showing King Queen for top 2. There is a $7 straddle on his hand, and I am next to act. I look down at Ace Queen offsuit, put in a raise to 22. It gets folded over to the player in the small blind who puts in the call, and so does the original straddler. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with 69 in. The straddler player has been very active, and I definitely want to be playing pots with him. So we see a flop that comes king high, all clubs. Not very good for our particular hand, but it's decent for our range. Both players check it over. I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at this for $20. They both quickly fold, and we pick up this small pot. Player raises $10, and there are a string of callers, and I'm in the big blind with Jack 10 offsuit. Definitely a hand I can defend with multi-way. We got a lot of chances to make a straight with this hand. We go 6 ways to see a flop of ace, queen, deuce with 2 diamonds. So we miss basically everything. We do have a gutter. Going to be folding to any sizable bet, but it gets checked around. Turn card comes as a king of hearts. We smash it. We make the straight. We put in the check, hoping that someone would take the lead, and that's what happens. Player ends up betting out for $40. It gets even better when the player on the button puts in the call for the 40, and so does this small blind. So we got 180 in the pot, and it's time to spring our trap. We decide to make it 160 total, so an additional $120 on top. I'm trying to get value from all those hands, like 2 pair, maybe someone with a flush draw, maybe someone has been slow playing a really big hand, like maybe pocket deuces or pocket queens. We can only hope. First player thinks for a little bit before folding. Player on the button now goes into the tank for quite some time. So the player on the button takes his sweet time, and he is in the tank for close to 2 minutes. And finally he decides on putting in the fold. The player in the small blind decides on putting in the call, and most likely he has some sort of draw, probably a flush draw. So, because he would have, if he had a made hand, he probably would have raised earlier. So I'm just trying to dodge a diamond at this point. We see a river card of a 3 of spades. He insta-mucks, so obviously he had no showdown value whatsoever. So we cash out a nice win, take a break and have some dinner, come back to a different table about an hour or so later. I'm on the button with ace jack offsuit, decided to call a raise from a middle position open for 15.
Just 3-bet the hand, take the initiative, and force out the blinds.
Zeus is right, I really should be 3-betting this hand. It's a 3-bet or fold type of hand. We have one of the blinds put in the call, so we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with 46 in. Flop is pretty good. It comes Jack 9-3 rainbow. So first player checks. The initial raiser leads for 15, rather a small bet. I decided to raise to 40 here, trying to get it heads up. The big blind now calls for the 40, setting off all sorts of alarm bells.
Once the blind calls your raise, you gotta be really careful. He's likely to have a big hand.
The initial butter also puts in the call, so we're going 3 ways to a turn card with 166 in of a 2 of hearts. Definitely doesn't help my hand much, but it shouldn't really help theirs either unless they pick up some sort of flush draw with like a jack and another heart. So it's checked over to me. I was debating on whether to check this back or whether to bet it, and since I didn't have the jack of hearts, I wanted to kind of deny equity to flush draws.
No! You're supposed to pot control. Check this one back. If he bets the river, Then you can call down if you think you're good.
Of course, I decided to lead for $120, and I get insta-jammed on by the big blind. At this point, I really know I screwed up. I definitely should have 3-bet pre-flop. Probably would have folded out whatever hand he might have had. Instead, I just flat, and he came in with a good price. Now I bet out when I'm probably clearly behind and may be drawing completely dead. Likely hands that he has are 2-pair or a set. I mean, he either has something like Jack-9 or pocket threes. If I'm lucky, he has something like Ace-Jack of hearts. So I'm actually putting myself on tilt right now, not because of the situation, just because how poorly I played this. And I figure, what the heck, put in another 130, teach me a lesson about how stupid I play. He rolls over pocket threes, and I get what I deserve. The very next hand, I look down at 6-3 suited. Still very steamed, very hot. There is a $6 straddle. One player limps in, I limp in. Player on the button limps in. So does the small blind, the big blind. And now the straddler, who was under the gun who put out the $6 straddle, he decides to raise to 40. Next player folds, and here I am calling off $40 with 6-3.
What the I can't believe what. Oh my god.
I think Zeus's comments are spot on. I have no effing business being in this hand. The player on the button also puts in the call for the additional 40, and we see a flop of queen, 4, deuce with 2 clubs. So I flop a flush draw, straight draw, and if you're going to be playing 6-3 of clubs for a raise, when you flop like this, you're going with it. So first player leads for 25. I jam. The player behind me has a short stack. He calls. The other player has a little over $100. He calls. We see a turn card of a 5 of hearts. Holy cow, we hit it. And we make the absolute nuts and take down this $357 pot. Not only that, we got to beat a guy with top set. Oh boy, life is not fair whatsoever. I really should have been punished again for playing that hand, and I didn't. I got rewarded. I got even from the previous hand. So I'm getting myself off tilt. Let's play good poker from here on out. So I'm trying to shake off that bad play that I've made those last couple of hands. I decided to refocus on playing this hand and every hand as best I can. I look down at 2 10s, open for a raise to 15. It gets folded back around to the player in the small blind. He decides to put in the call. The big blind puts in the fold. So we're going to end up going heads up to a flop with $33 in the pot. Flop comes out queen, 6, 5, rainbow. So not a bad flop for our hand. And when check 2, I'm going to bet for 15. The player puts in a quick call. So we're going to go to a turn card of a 6 of clubs. Not the greatest card in the world, but it shouldn't really hurt much unless he has a 6. I decided to check it back for pot control just because he might have a queen here, and if he did, he would probably fire the river. But he checks the river when another 6 comes up. So now it's time to go for a little extra value. I bet $25, and he calls me down with a pair of 4s. So I got 2 streets of value with not a much risk involved. The game's a little short right now, so I'm going to open up my game a little bit. I look down at Jack 10 offsuit in the hijack, open for a raise to 15. It gets folded around to the player in the small blind who decides on putting in a call. So we're going to end up going heads up to a flop with $33 in the pot. Flop comes King, Jack 8, rainbow. So a pretty good flop to our hand. He checked it over to me, and this is one I'm going to just check back. Turn card now is another Jack, so great for our hand. He leads out for $15. I'm just going to flat here. If he's bluffing, I want him to continue bluffing. If he has a Jack, well, then he has a Jack. River card comes as a 5 of spades, puts up the backdoor flush draw. Slightly concerned he might have made a flush. He bets out for 30. I put in the call. He shows ace 5, and we take this one down. He was bluffing all the way. Just consider this one a bonus hand. I played the next day, had a terrible migraine about 30 to 40 minutes into the session, and this was the only real hand I played. I get aces under the gun plus 1. There is the player who limps in from under the gun. I raise to 15. It's folded back around to this player who kind of says something that makes me believe that they have a good hand to call with, something like a medium pair. Flop comes 10, 9, 5. They check to me, and I end up betting for 15, and they put in a very quick call. After their comment about how they couldn't let this one go pre-flop, and their quick call, I'm thinking that I might be in trouble, that they could have something like pocket tens or pocket nines. But all that fear has gone away very quickly when the turn card is a ace of spades. Now I'm kind of hoping that they have one of those hands. They check to me. I bet out $25, which would be my standard bet here if I had, say, a hand like ace king or ace queen. And they ponder for a moment before deciding on putting in a raise to 75. So now it's all about trying to get the other $300 into the pot. I could probably just shove here. If my read is correct and they have a set, there's no way they're going to be folding, and so they're going to probably just call off. Or I can just go for a more standard size raise, and hopefully they would be committed and call off on the river. I decided to go for plan B, raising an additional $100 on top of their raise. So this will leave them about $200 behind if they call. But they don't call, they jam immediately. I put in the snap call, tell them that I had the aces, and they roll over pocket tens. And a special shout out to Jake, who is the villain on this hand. They are a vlog watcher and supporter. They took the beat very well and with a lot of class. So my hat's off to you. Played for about another 20-30 minutes before my migraine got to the point where I had to go home. As always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate your support. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. It does help out the channel. Also, if you want to make comments about how poorly I played that ace-jack hand or how lucky I got on the 6-3 of clubs, go right ahead. All those comments help out the algorithm, lets more viewers see my videos, so I'm okay with that. We ended up winning $520 on that first day. Didn't play particularly well. I got very lucky on that second hand to win it. It also helped me get off my tilt factor. So the day could have been totally different if I continued down that bad path. But I was able to pull things together and start playing well. The second day, of course, was the 8-pocket aces hand. That was the only hand I played basically all day long. Had to go because my head was killing me. Anyway, until next time, good luck at the tables, and we'll see you in a few days.